Before jumping into our pedagogy for inclusive digital product design, we'd like to quickly discuss the differences between accessible design, universal design, and inclusive design. They are related in some ways, but not the same. The first one we like to discuss is accessible design. Accessible design has a long history, but the public awareness really increased after the passage of legislations such as Americans with Disability Act. In short, accessible design is a mandate that public facilities and services must be fully accessible to people with disability. In our digital design classes, we do cover the fundamentals of accessible design. On the screen here you see is adding descriptive text for images. This will enable screen readers for people who are vision impaired. Here are some more examples of how we cover other accessibility requirements, such as semantic markup language, color contrast ratio, and color blindness simulation.
Unlike accessibility, which can be defined and regulated, universal design is a broader concept. Here is the North Carolina State University's definition of universal design: the design of products and environment to be usable by all people, to the greatest extent possible, without the need for adaptation or specialized design. I like this definition because it communicates the core spirit of universal design, which is to create a design that's easier to use for everyone. Here is a good example. A lever door handle is much more comfortable to use than a doorknob. This kind of careful usability consideration is at the core of the universal design concept. The most beautiful thing about universal design is when a design is done right. It improves usability for everyone. Here is another example. Kitchen faucets that can be controlled by a simple touch is much more universal than traditional faucets. Universal design is much easier to say than to be done, because design decisions might have unintended consequences. For example, the curve cut makes it easier for people who use a wheelchair. However, flattening the curve also means it is a risk for blind people, because they could walk straight into the street without knowing it. That is why sidewalk bumps need to be part of the curve cut design. These are the universal design principles from North Carolina State University. It offers useful insights on how to achieve universal design. Equitable use, flexibility in use, simple and intuitive, perceptible information, tolerance for error, low physical effort, size and space for approach and use. In conclusion, accessible design and universal design are closely connected. They both concern with addressing the needs beyond just people that we consider to be average or typical.
Unlike universal design and accessible design, when it comes to inclusive design, there isn't one generally agreed upon definition, at least not yet. The Inclusive Design Research Center at Ontario College of Art and Design offers a pretty concise definition for inclusive design. Inclusive design considers the full range of human diversity with respect to ability, language, culture, gender, age, and other forms of human differences. In other words, rather than attempting to create one universal design that works for everyone, inclusive design encourages designers to recognize and embrace individual differences. It is the opposite to one size fits all. It is one size fits one. As you can see from the 3 dimensions of inclusive design on this slide, inclusive designers recognize mismatched interactions between people and their world and use creativity and technology to provide remedies for the excluded communities. Inclusive design, accessibility, and universal design. They are all important for different reasons and each have different strengths. We believe designers should be familiar with all three. To advance education for inclusive digital product design at FIT, Professor Shin and I drafted an inclusive design manifesto. Design is a tool to serve the underserved. Design is a voice for the underheard. Design is a platform for celebrating diversity. Design is a catalyst for positive social changes. Design is a process to innovate and create with people.